Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'd like to make you aware on the existence of a DPS meter for Lost Ark, the first ever DPS meter for Lost Ark. Not only that, I would also like to give huge props to the Russian people who even thought about making this for the game. A year and something ago I made a video of 5 things I hate about Lost Ark, and one of the 5 things was the fact that it didn't have a DPS meter. Up until today I still hate that about the game. However, this particular DPS meter that the Russian people just made is a very caveman-y version of a DPS meter. It's in its first basic pre-alpha kind of version of it. I want to tell you though that even though it's a caveman DPS meter at the moment, this is a huge milestone and a huge step for Lost Ark for the future of the game, because obviously if this was done, then this is going to be, or can be, and will probably most likely be improved upon by people that know how to do this thing, and eventually we're gonna have a legit DPS meter for the game. I would also like to draw your attention to the fact that this exact version of the DPS meter, the way it works in Lost Ark, which is it takes screenshots of, you know, the HP remaining of the Scarecrow currently. This was exactly the same in Guild Wars 2 also. Their first ever DPS meter in that game was also a version in which took screenshots of your gameplay inside the game. Then the second version was the fact that you could share screenshots somehow within the chat from your computer to the other computer, so you can see the whole party, how much other people did in your group. And then later on, nowadays, Guild Wars 2 has a very nice DPS meter that is very in-depth and shows you a lot of things. I'm hoping the same for Lost Ark. Let me show you how this current version of the DPS meter works. Everything I talk about in this video is, as always, linked in the description below. The links to the DPS meter, the links to this and that. There is a forum post, right? I'm gonna link this to you, and here the owner, the guy who made the DPS meter, is explaining a couple of things to you. It only works in 3 resolutions, these ones right here. Your UI inside the game has to be set to 100%, otherwise it's not gonna capture the screenshots, right? The file is actually a zip. It comes like this right here, and you unzip the file, and inside the folder, I'm gonna show it to you also, inside the folder this is what you're gonna find, right? 3 things, and then you start this, and then you start the game Lost Ark. You can also start this and then run Lost Ark with the English patcher. I am currently with Lost Ark on English patcher, and the DPS meter is working. I'm gonna show you in a moment how it looks as well. I personally, after installing it didn't work, so I needed this thing right here, yeah, for my system from the Microsoft official page. I'm gonna link you this particular page in the description below. The latest supported Visual C++ downloads, and I got this one for my system, and then after that the DPS meter started working. That's about it. Nothing else in terms of installing this this particular thing. Let me show you how it looks. After you run the executable, it looks something like this, and then it opens up this particular website, right? And from this website you actually control the DPS meter. So right now what you need to do, it only works on the training dummy Intrision. That's all. So basically this DPS meter at the moment of this video is something that does the math for you. Instead of you looking at the scarecrows as HP right on top of it, the DPS meter does that for you, and it shows you a couple of graphs also. I'm gonna show you. So you summon, it has to be a scarecrow, and it has to be a named version of the scarecrow. If you don't have the game translated, then the scarecrow is the bottom and the named version is the bottom option right here. And then you have to auto attack it once, so you can get up its HP right here on the screen, and then after that you will have this website open in your default browser, and you will press here start tracking. Now this is started, then you're gonna go to the game and start doing your things, right? You have a rotation, you have a DPS meter running, and you have a rotation for your raiding build, right? So this is how you're gonna be testing if your rotation is proper, if your cooldown management is legit, if you can replace this skill with that skill, would it do more damage, etc. Now after you do your things, the DPS meter is logging everything here on the website. which is pretty neat. I have currently 2 pages because it was a very fast session. When you stop DPSing for 4 seconds, or when you block the screen, when you minimize Lost Ark with something else, then the DPS meter is gonna stop counting the things. But it's perfectly fine because you can have it on your second screen, and when you're done, you're just gonna alt tab and you don't care about it tracking things anymore. At the bottom here, it has your actual damage, your average damage and total damage in graphs. This button right here, this is why you would try this DPS meter right now. This is the only reason why, because otherwise you can just also go in game and calculate how much damage did you do on your stopwatch. 3 minutes, okay, I did 1 million, let's do another run and let's do 2 million this time with another build, right? But this particular average damage tab right here is super important because you can see if your damage is okay on an average basis, if your long-term damage values are, you know, just standing at a nice line because you have a good rotation, because you have a good cooldown management, because your skills are proper for that particular encounter. Because as you can imagine, if you're on a training dummy standing still without any mechanics and your average damage graph looks like this, or it's like this up and then it's down for a while and then it's again back up, that means maybe you have too many short cooldown skills on your bar, right? And you get to press them all and then you're just waiting or auto attacking. So it kind of gives you a very nice overview. For me, this particular graph is absolutely golden, to be honest, not only to understand my class a little bit better, but to understand other classes as I'm playing them and as I'm doing build tests on them, right? It's just me, you don't have to do it. Yeah, not sure if this whole DPS meter thing, this software, this whatever executable is a virus or not. I don't think so. I'm using it. I'm not saying you should use it at your own risk, but I'm just saying this is a very nice first step for Lost Ark to also get the DPS meter, and I'm very happy with this, and kudos again to the Russian people who thought about doing this. That's all for today's video, guys. All the links, you can find them in the description below. Remember, if you want to play Lost Ark, if you're new or newer to the game and you're attracted to this particular game, I have a 6-minute guide linked in the description below that tells you everything you need to know on how to play Lost Ark with us here on the Russian server before the game comes out to the West. Lots of love again, stay safe, and see you really soon.